The Match Ball.
Hello there, welcome to the show. Streaming live on YouTube exclusively for our TSB Plus members. You can watch the show later on YouTube. You can listen in your podcast app. The Match Ball, Michael, do you know who it's brought to you with? Levi's Solicitors, yeah. Do you know what the problem is?
It's not their birthday month, is it?
No, it's November now. That's been and gone. So
Finish month.
finish month. What do we do now?
Just 10% off.
10% off your legal fees.
All of them.
I think you could go back to the original big three just to give everyone that nice comfort feeling.
Wills, probate and conveyancing.
Yeah, 10% off on those. If you want to check out the full range of legal services, 10% discount on your legal fees on the lot. Full details and terms on the website, levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Can't wait to see what's next. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a big one.
I'm Dan Moylan. On today's Match Ball with me is Michael and Chris Mack as we review the win, an easy walk in the park. It's always nice to have a little walk in the park, isn't it, in autumn when the leaves are falling? And that's what today was, 3-0. So should we get straight into the hard-hitting, intelligent, either or both?
Neither.
Analysis. We could really just be cheap about this today, couldn't we? Because loads of stuff's happened where we could just be pricks. Like we've closed the gap on Sunderland. Calvin's been sent off for Ipswich. They can't buy a win. Loads going on. But what are our big three then? The fact that it was a piece of piss. The end of Wayne Rooney, again.
No one's give him a job after this. Surely this is the end of it. And he's not going to be there for when we play down there, is he? He's got to go soon.
I reckon he'll be advertising sketches before the season is out. And third and final point I was going to say was debuts, children and pensioners.
Children and old men.
Yeah.
That really added to the full pre-season testimonial vibe of it, didn't it? Just it doesn't matter.
There was a few people around me who were like, who? Whenever Chambers came on. I think people knew who Charlie Crew is, but Chambers had only really featured in pre-season quite briefly.
I feel a bit sorry for Isaac Schmidt.
God, yeah.
So they're like, oh, fucking nice one. Cheers. Not me, no. Being on this fetus instead. But yeah, what a weird game.
Yeah, there's like fool me once, fool me twice. Is there a fool me thrice? Really? Because that is... I'm saying that's the worst team I've seen at Elland Road since the last Wayne Rooney team.
Yeah.
They're just dreadful.
They offered nothing. What was their XG?
0.0.
Nil.
0.
Nil.
Yes, the shot map is nothing. There is not one. They didn't even put a crossing that Melly had to deal with, I don't think. I genuinely think I could have played in net and kept a clean sheet today. They didn't get near our goal at any point in the game.
As Leah's just pointing out in the comments on the YouTube stream, probably one of the most controversial things that happened today was them turning around, so we were attacking the Cop first half, and that's what you get for it.
Adam Forshaw.
Yeah.
I'm blaming Forshaw.
Goals are scored at the Cop end.
This is true. Yeah, it's just weird. You could see what their plan was because they were time wasting immediately. The game started and it was a minute for goal kicks. It felt like every throw-in was taking forever. They were doing that thing of people pretending they didn't know where the ball was. But then
it's in the back of your net, lads.
But then we went 3 goals up and they just basically stuck to. It was like keep on with plan A, but you're a goal down, you're 2 goals down, you're 3 goals down. Just keep doing it though, whatever. And then the second half was just weird.
It was quite telling. I made a note, 26 minutes, there was like a big clap in the away end, and I just realised like about a minute after, it was because they strung about 3 passes together.
Yeah. They just did I remember that, some normal passing, and there was that little rise of the crowd, wasn't there? Yeah. Like, oh, something exciting just happened. Lads, you've just taken a few kicks.
I mean, we've been there, though. we have been there. Like, let's not be snobs about it.
I don't think that's as bad as any performance I think I've ever seen, though. Just in terms of a complete lack of ambition or any plan to score a goal. Maybe we're doing ourselves a disservice and we played well and they just were unable to do anything. But God, how did they think they were going to score?
Yeah, no, I do think we played well. I mean, if anything, you should give them credit for season. Whenever the first goal went in, at that point, they're really on the ropes here and just stepped it up and killed the game off.
That was the only slight bit of grind, wasn't it? Where you thought, this is taking a while. Could we get towards half time and it gets frustrating? But actually, it's fine, wasn't it? Just waited, scored, and then just scored again, and then scored again.
Just looking at the passes, they completed 30 passes in our half. I mean, bloody hell, lads. And I imagine all but probably 10 of those were only just in our half. They'll have been like when they just edged over the halfway line. I mean, wow. Touches in the opposition box, 5 they had.
I need to just mention briefly our Tanaka, because Yubo's Ars is requesting that we hurry up, lads. Need my fix of piss chat, bald frauds, and Tanaka flossing. Tanaka, for the first time today, got caught in possession. I was absolutely devastated.
That one when he brought it down really nicely, but then got...
Yeah, it was just before the hour mark. I did take note of that. It was about 57 minutes in, 58, and I was no.
As I've opened up, because I was opened up FotMob to look at their passes completed stats. Player of the match, Tanaka.
Doesn't come as a surprise. Presumably, just because he lost possession, it's only a 9.9.
It's an 8.2. But yeah, he's really good, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I thought everyone was good.
Yeah, I don't think anyone played badly.
No, I think
it would have been really hard to have played badly in that game, I think.
Yeah, I think most people could have just slotted in at fullback without much. I mean, they didn't have anything, did they? Their number 2 looked okay. Did Junior Firpo a couple of times.
Was that Ballymumba?
Mumba, yeah. He looked vaguely good.
Brother of Samantha.
But it was very...
Thank you, by the way, because he was ribbing me for that earlier in the week.
I put it in the daily email yesterday and then listened to Johnny Cooper after that. I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, you can get a daily email from us if you're a TSB Plus member, and you can get the weekly free email as well called Don't Miss, which is rather good. Find that on the website. There's a little sell for you.
It is really good.
But yeah, what an easy afternoon. I don't think my pulse rate got above about 45 in that second. 45. Just so easy.
Yeah, and by the time the third's going in as well, it's got that just another goal vibe about it as well, hasn't it? Where people just go, "Wait, it's another one."
Yeah, this is. I don't know how accurate this is from Sean, but it's about us and Leeds, about us and Plymouth. Sorry, so let's run with it. Saying Plymouth fans are delusional, quoting something that's presumably on Twitter. Leeds one-dimensional in their play today. I'd be worried if I was one of their fans. Yes, #PAFC. Yeah, I'm absolutely shitting my pants that we brushed you aside in second gear, and we're nearly at the top of the league, and we could afford to be one-dimensional. That's the beautiful thing. If that's our one dimension, it's all right, isn't it?
Surely no Plymouth fans are actually saying that.
I hope it's not real.
I hope it is. I mean,
they've been saying to watch that game, and their takeaway is that Leeds are going to struggle this year. Because that was absolutely fine.
I'm having a shit time of this. I think, is that what you call copium?
Possibly.
I think it's called copium. Should we do some Wayne Rooney slander then?
I'm just looking at their team for today. They didn't bring Morgan Whittaker off the bench. I can only assume he was injured or something.
I thought that.
He's by far their best player.
Or just keeping him fit for midweek. Because their whole lineup apparently was quite defensive. I didn't get until just before kickoff, so I didn't really have time to sort of pay attention to any of the teams. And I think they brought somebody on, one of the subs that they made, some bloke, I'm going to call him because we can afford to be obnoxious now. They brought some bloke off the bench, and I thought, you could be a professional footballer with that name, or you could be on the cast of Love Island. I've no idea who you are.
Is it Tegan Finn?
Correct.
That's the guy. That's the guy. But yeah, they brought Gray on at half time. And I think, in fact, the nearest they came to a chance was right at the start of the second half when they had a bit of a break and Tanaka got back and covered, and it was just absolutely fine. But that was it.
There was one on the edge of the Plymouth box towards the end. I can't remember whether it was Solomon or Firpo, but someone sort of broke away from Andre Gray and he just tried to kick him. Like he didn't even
Solomon,
break out of a walk and just swung about at him. I was like, why, mate, why even just go to Saudi Arabia or the MLS and pick up a paycheck?
Yeah. Let's talk about Dan James's goal anyway.
We'll get to the goals in a second because I just want to quickly mention Forshaw, actually.
He's not got any faster, has he?
No, and I think like my dad has always been a fan of Forshaw and was sort of talking him up. So I always thought, he was as good as anybody on his day. But I just watched him today and thought, yeah, he was a tidy, efficient passer, but you could see why he's no longer at Leeds.
Yeah, well, he can't.
Because
he can't run anymore.
No.
I mean, he was never much. I say he was never much of a runner. He must have been because Bielsa liked him. But yeah, it was not happening. But then again, he didn't stand out as being worse than any of the rest of them. They looked like a team without a plan.
Yeah.
So I'd find it hard to.
Or what about a really shit plan?
They had a really shit plan. The plan was to time waste and kind of be defensive, but then they gifted us a couple of goals.
Their plan A was to do plan B worse.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And they did well.
Did you say that they are right down or up there with the worst I've seen, I think, in years?
Oh, yeah, easily.
Is that what you said, Chris? Yeah, I agree.
Since the start of this calendar year.
I mean, Cardiff away, that was pretty startling how bad they were, I thought.
Yeah, they've got better since though.
But they're on a good run. They won again today, I think. I mean, considering they were rooted to the bottom not long ago, they're 17th now.
Jim was mentioning in the comments before it's going to be a slog finding interesting propaganda with their resignation of being utter shite. Don't need to worry about Plymouth too much, do we? Not when Cardiff have won. They won late, didn't they?
They did. They were a goal down on 89 minutes and won 2-1 against Norwich.
So just think what that young Cardiff City
Hopefully
fan
there'll
is
be
going to be like.
Some good swearing.
Going absolutely bananas. There's a request for some Rooney hair chat, please. Johnny Hayes Jazz requesting some of that.
Well, I can't,
we'll go to you as our resident expert.
Can't fully see it from the cop.
You can't fully see it from up close, mate.
No, very thin, very thin. Joel Perot's hair. That was
he's gone a little bit.
Got his
Mateo Joseph, hasn't he? Is it a glow up? Is it a glow up? Is that what they say?
I'm not sure I like it really, but
Ian Appa 2011 sort of.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that, but yeah, Rooney. I couldn't really see it well enough. I'll have to wait for some close up pictures. But poor old Rooney. I quite like him as a manager.
Because he makes our life easy.
Basically, yeah. I think has he just completely rolled over every time we've played him? I'm trying to remember.
Maybe he is a Leeds Rhinos fan. Maybe he's got a soft spot for us.
Because he only did one game, one of the Birmingham games last year, which was one of the easiest games. He was Derby manager when we went and won the league there, after we'd won the league, and we were...
He was playing?
I was playing in it, wasn't he? That was it.
Kaku.
Of course he was, yeah, he was playing in it, wasn't he? Yeah, I just felt like post Scum, I've only really got good memories of Wayne Rooney.
Well, here's an interesting one. We'll come to you as our adjudicator, Michael. Rob is asking, can we call Rooney a bald fraud?
He's because he is bald. He's spiritually bald. Yeah, I know he's tried to patch it up, but he's had to go through it.
Simon's saying Rooney's lost some weight. Good to see him taking care of himself.
I did. Do you know what? I actually did think he had lost some weight looking at him on the sideline, because he's been startlingly big at points when you've seen him on TV and you've gone, wow, okay, that's what you've been up to.
He's been saying in his press conference as well, he didn't hear any of the chants.
Oh, bless him. The dad in front of me said, how do I explain that one? When there was a song about him shagging grannies, because he was there with his daughter who was about 10.
Oh, God.
And she was going, what is it? What do you mean? What do you mean? And he's going,
well, you know, Grandma.
And he just went, oh, I didn't hear what they were saying. So he just tried to style it out, which he wasn't having it.
Right.
But never mind.
They've got the internet. They'll find out anyway, won't they? Should we talk
Don't
about
don't encourage children to Google that, Dan.
Shit. Too late. It's out there now.
At least we're not live.
Let's talk about the goals then. Go on, Michael.
Scored from a corner.
Yes, we did. As Johnny Cooper was saying on Friday, happens a lot more often than we realise.
I don't think that is...
Or was he lying?
It can't count as scoring from a corner.
He's lying.
Because it was cleared-ish.
And then we scored.
And then we scored.
Same phase of play, though, isn't it?
Suppose so. Yeah, what a finish, though.
Yeah.
A rare sort of finish.
I had the perfect angle of it because I'm in the cheese wedge, like upper cheese wedge. So I'm directly behind it, and it was, you could see it as soon as he hit it, you could see it was going in. It was great.
I actually caught me a little bit by surprise. I don't think anybody necessarily anticipated it, apart from the people who were directly in line with it.
It was pretty much side-footed in, wasn't it? It was
at height you'd expect the keeper to save as well.
Yeah, but it was very well placed. And I think it come through a bit of a crowd maybe, and the keeper was taken surprised by it as well. So
the benefit I have of seeing it live meant I couldn't see the replays. I was trying to work out if it was deflected.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Yeah, I did wonder. I did wonder. But no.
Lovely.
So yeah, overall it leaves us 3 points off the top with the best goal difference joint with Sunderland in the league. So suddenly it's starting to look all right, isn't it? What minute did we score in? It was approaching the half-hour mark, wasn't it?
Yeah, we scored. Then they were all within about 8 minutes.
38.
I'm just going to pull up the stats and have a look. Oh, bloody hell, that momentum graph is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
78% possession, expected goals 2.09 for us, 0 for them. We had 23.
I don't think I've ever seen 0.
We had 23 shots to their 0. That's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, the others, I feel like we've not scored enough like scabby goals this season. But 2 and 3 were both had a bit of luck about them, didn't they? Where it just bounced to us in the right areas.
I suppose that's why you start Pero in a game. And when it works, it works.
Oh, right. So it's 30, 33 and 38, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the second one was, it just sort of fell to Pero, didn't it? It was a shot. Was it Tanaka who had the shot?
It was very pinball-y.
Yeah.
I couldn't really work out
because
what's
I
going
did
on.
it initially at first glance. I say at first glance, I didn't have a second glance. At the to the naked eye, I wondered if he was offside, but then because it took a deflection on the way through that diverted into his path, that then made him onside. But I couldn't tell for sure. Like, I tried to look on the replays in the stadium, but I couldn't really properly make it out.
Yeah.
But you take him, don't you?
Yeah, and a good finish as well.
A good sort of little bit of hold-up play, if you want to call it that, for the third one as well from Peru.
Yeah, he tried he tried a back heel, didn't he, which didn't come off, but then it just fell nicely to Aronson. It was a good finish again. So, yeah, and that was all done. 8 minutes. See you later.
Was it a toe punt? I think that's what Stuart Dallas was saying on LUTV. What do you reckon, Chris?
Toe poke? Yeah, I think it was. It did look like a toe poke. The Dan James one. Yeah, I thought it was a toe poke, but that's why I thought it was deflected, because the way it was hit, it just looked a bit weird. But I can't really see the TV from.
In fact, Mark, who just brought that to our attention, is saying or claiming that it deflected off the defender. We can choose to reject or accept that evidence.
It would kind of make sense, because it was weird. Everyone seemed a bit surprised that it had gone in. I could see the TV, but it's a bit 90s. Is the Leeds big screen?
I am gonna campaign for it to be nominated for the Puskas goal.
Seems fair enough.
Okay, fair enough. Third goal. That was who was the third goal?
Brendan Aronson. Yeah, Pirro.
Obviously, presumably you didn't celebrate that.
Boo.
Just sat there sat on your hands. No, I'm not going to celebrate it, because obviously you're rampant.
Yeah, of course.
And so on. And so forth. Anti-American agenda.
Yeah, Pirro back to goal. Tried a back heel. Yeah, didn't work. Never mind. Scored anyway.
I thought it was a nice little bit of invention, sort of trying to do something, because it was crowded in front of him, wasn't it? So at least he had the presence of mind to send it away from that crowd in front of him. I'm not saying he meant it, because it was pinballing around, but at least he had a little bit of presence of mind not to try and turn on it and just go, oh, fuck it, I'll get it that way.
I think you can afford a little bit of creative flair when you're playing against a team that are that bad.
Yeah.
As well. He doesn't do that against Sheffield United or Sunderland or something like that. But on a day like that, why not?
Yes. So 3-0. Did you feel at that point that the game was effectively won, coming up for 40 minutes and half time?
2-0, it felt won, I would have to say. Yeah, I mean, you never know, do you? And in the last game, they were 3 down and ended up drawing, which is kind of hard to imagine how they'd score a goal based on the stuff we've seen today. I don't know. They were reassuringly timid at 1, at 2, at 3 goals down. They were not ever. They never felt like they were going like, all right, we're just going to lump it forward and try a different way to score. It just was like, just try and keep it to 3-0.
In terms of different ways to score, Wayne's saying if we were allowed to put in first time crosses, it could have been 6 or 7. That is one thing we don't often do, is play the early ball. We often play the greater percentages, which is sometimes, I think, is the complaint with people wanting to see Farker take the handbrake off. But against a team like this, it just works, doesn't it? Just wait.
I wonder if we would have gone for it a little bit more in the second half if we weren't playing in London on Wednesday.
Completely, yeah, correct.
So,
yeah, I think there was a fair bit of that, and it just like, well, this is done.
Yeah, and I accept that, as much as I want to see us absolutely steamroller somebody. It makes total sense.
There was a bit towards the end where Firpo he kind of pulled out of 50-50. And in normal circumstances, you'd be a bit like, oh, come on. That was there to be won. But at 3-0, 5 minutes to go, another game in a few days, you think, yeah, just don't get injured.
Don't take any risks.
It's fine.
Yeah. And that was another thing. Actually, we'll just pivot across to the dickhead ref chat. No yellow cards today, I don't think. None at all. He was a little bit reluctant to give one late on.
He really was. I mean, like say, when Gray just booted Solomon when he ran past him, you thought he's surely going to pull this back and book him, but couldn't be asked.
Yeah, I did make a note on 72 minutes that it seemed like everyone in the stadium just wanted to go home.
Yeah.
Is it baseball where it's like the mercy rule? If the other team that are losing are like, we're not going to make that back, let's just go home.
Just knock it on the head.
Yeah.
I thought that at half time when the ref only had 2 minutes on, because they'd wasted a lot of time in that first half, I felt like, and there'd been 3 goals and he still only added 2 on.
Yeah, everybody knew, didn't they?
It was just like, let's wrap this up.
There was a little bit of a change at half time in their setup, because it was Andre Gray came on at half time, wasn't it? And they went something, it was either a 3-5-2 or a 4-4-2. I wasn't quite sure what it was they were trying to achieve. But they certainly had 2 up front at the start of the second half.
There was a point in the first half where they were dropping deep. I think this was at 0-0. They were dropping deeper and deeper. And it did briefly look like they had 6 at the back. but I couldn't tell whether it was 5 with a midfielder who was just sort of had gone AWOL a bit.
It's been tried and tested a lot against us, hasn't it? Sit very, very deep, pack the edge of the box, and it frustrates us, but they were so poor.
I've had this Dan James goal on a loop, by the way, for about the last 2 minutes. I can't tell if it was deflected or not.
I was going to say, actually, Mark, who sent the comments in before, was talking about the other goal. He wasn't talking about the Dan James one.
Okay.
He was talking about the deflection that went to Pirot. Sorry, when he said it came off the defender.
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely did.
Yeah. Let's have a look. And so Stephen is just reporting a comment that was on the BBC Sports website. If I was a Plymouth fan, I'd get a bottle of Jägermeister for the coach home. That way you'll finally see some shots tonight, posted by formerly Steer Karma. Excellent.
Yeah. What a terrible day out that would have been.
It's a long way home, isn't it?
It's a long way to Plymouth when you shit, is what we were singing. But it is actually a long way to Plymouth, even when you're good, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the Plymouth fans being quite lively last year, but I don't think I heard them today.
They had the first season back bounce, didn't they? So
yeah, because they only had the upper tier today. Should we said, like in the away end, it was Leeds fans in the West Stand paddock just in front of them. But I mean, they gave a few songs out, but it was quite clear. Obviously, the game's won before half time, and everyone, and there was a certain amount of just, as you say, Chris, like everyone just wants to go home in that second half. It was all very relaxing.
We've said before as well, you need a bit of. It's a two-way thing, isn't it? A crowd and a team, but you need the team to show you a bit of something to get excited about. Whereas that was just nothing. I mean, I genuinely think when we were kind of taking a piss, bringing on just people for debuts and stuff.
Well, Sam's asking thoughts on our young boys and pensioner making their debuts. So
it's interesting to see if we were just taking players off, how long it would have taken them to actually score. If we'd have had to take a player off every 5 minutes, I still think they might. I think we'd get to about 7 men and they might have an attack. But other than that, they just seem quite content to just be like, no, 3-0's good. We're here for it.
Yeah, Chambers I thought looked lively. He looked all right.
yeah.
Good start. That
Crew nearly scored. Late shot, didn't he?
Tipped over the bar, yeah. I was kind of hoping for that for the 4-0. Just a nice little, like a little encore before everybody has to go home. Would have been good.
It's kind of hard to make too much of a judgment because they were awful. So I think they all looked quite good when they came on. I think Gilavogi got involved pretty quickly and it looked like they were getting them the ball, but they also weren't bothered about doing anything about it. So you can't really go, oh, he was brilliant. There was a brief moment where I was like, he did his Zidane turn. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's the real deal, but he's also playing against a bunch of no-hopers. So
the main thing I can say about Gilavogi is he is big.
Very big.
I did notice that when he came on.
Generational talent has been suggested in the YouTube.
Because I'm hugely observant. I was like, he's big.
He's a big lad.
Good. He got on the end of a corner, I think, didn't he?
He nearly scored in that same spell,
he did.
didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think it's surprising that a former La Liga, Bundesliga, and France international, which I think he has like a few caps for France,
He does.
can just sort of slot in against one of the worst teams in the championship after rolling off the sofa and look okay.
Rolling off the sofa. I think his definition of rolling off the sofa possibly slightly different to ours.
He's been on a cruise all summer and he's just come in and
Just
signed for us.
Comfort eating at the free buffet.
But no, I mean, yeah, they all look decent.
Yeah.
If we could play Plymouth every week, I'd be happy with them all starting, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
I'd campaign for a spot myself, potentially.
For you?
Yeah, just for 10 minutes at the end.
You're older than Wayne Rooney, aren't you? I think he's slightly younger than you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I reckon. Yeah. No, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, good on you. So what else have we got to talk about subs-wise? Joseph came on. How do you think he got on? Fine. At that point, the game was all done and dusted, wasn't it?
It was just a weird game.
Yeah.
When we made the subs, it was none of them did a huge. Solomon got booted around a little bit.
Joseph did what he used to do last season, was come on and just clatter a defender, which I quite like. He did that towards the end.
Brian, thank you for this. Just talking about the post-match press conference, I suppose we can go over to Farker Watch now, saying, in answer to a question, encourage Tanaka or Joe Rothwell to shoot from further, shoot quicker or more. So the question was shoot quicker or more often. So he said shoot from further.
Tanaka did have a shot.
There is a little bit of that, isn't there? There's points where we're doing that thing where we move it side to side in front of the opposition penalty area, where you do sometimes just implore people to put their foot through it.
I thought we started looking like we are going to shoot from the edge of the box now, because Tanaka had one. There was the one when Nanto had a decent shot from a short corner, where that seems to be it's one of my favourite corner routines we do, where we just pass it to Nanto and let him shoot. I'm not sure it's worked in a while, but yeah, it seems to create a bit of threat. I feel like there were Tanaka had another quite wild one from the edge of the box. Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of threat there.
It just keeps them honest as well. Like they're not expecting the same thing over and over again, which means maybe you do catch them by surprise at a corner at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, just talking about Farke, there's almost nothing he had to do today. He had such a light touch on the whole game because it felt like Plymouth just made it so easy, pretty much from start to finish. There was that little creeping doubt in the first half an hour of wondering whether this might get frustrating, but I did also feel like if we just carry on doing this, it's probably a matter of time before we eventually score.
Yeah, I mean, the fact they were time wasting so much from the first minute worries me a bit, because if you can get to half time with that, it gets a bit frustrating, doesn't it? And it's amazing how quick the minutes can ebb away when a team's just breaking it up and taking ages over throw-ins and ages over goal kicks. And before you know it, it's 65 minutes on the clock and people are getting itchy for some subs, and none of it's quite working. But yeah, it was a piece of piss, wasn't it, really? Let's be honest.
Very much so. Right, so just some other stuff to tidy up. Steve is asking, Dan, what time did your dad leave? He actually stayed beyond the 80-minute mark today. Yeah, because it was quite relaxing. There was no stress involved in it, so I didn't feel the need to sort of get away from it all. It was very, very chill. And John is saying, Michael, you have aged significantly better than Rooney. Shows the toll that exercise and healthy living can have on the human body. You're an advert for whatever it is that you do.
I am. Yeah. I'm going to open a yoga retreat soon. Right. It's one of the least flexible men in the world.
Just have a lay down.
You can't beat a lay down. That is true.
Dear me. But yeah, a nice comfortable day.
I mean, like my notes, the second half starts, Andrew Gray on, I make a note of. Tanaka back well to cover 45 minutes. Nothing for 20 minutes. Didn't make a single note.
I don't even think I'd have thought in my head.
Because I just don't think anything happened.
Nothing happened.
No. Did you bet any bets on Plymouth? It's been asked.
No, I never did. Yeah. I actually did mean to pre-game, and then by the time I was in the ground and the internet wasn't working, by the time it worked, I think we're 3 up, and I was like, we're not losing this.
I wonder what they would have been at 3-0. For 5 to 1, probably.
Yeah, even for the draw, you'd have been looking at, you'd have wanted 1,000 to 1 at that point.
Unfortunately, tunes don't come through on text, but Steve was saying that was supposed to be in the Yaya Toure tune. So it was Dan. What time did your dad leave?
Okay.
Just after 80 minutes. Anyway, where are you on your optimism scale now, Michael?
Probably wherever.
Plymouth last year.
Whenever we last beat Wayne Rooney's Birmingham,
right?
I guess, because it's one of those where you go, it's a good win, nice and solid, but it doesn't really count because they've not actually got a manager.
They've not really got a manager.
They haven't. The best thing, they need to sack him. If you make the mistake of employing Wayne Rooney, the best thing you can do is sack him as quickly as possible. And surely they will do it soon.
Richard is saying that they were 500 to 1 were Plymouth at 3-0 down.
Yeah, fair. I'd say I wouldn't stop.
Wouldn't you even put £1 on?
Maybe £1. But it's not going to tempt you much, is it? It's that they were 500 to 1 for a reason. I mean, given the XG of 0.0, it kind of indicates that it was fair. I
do wonder, Chris, like it's 3-0 at half time, and quite clearly we're Muller in them. And what does Wayne Rooney say to try and inspire those players for the second half? Or do you think maybe there's a point at which they're just going, don't listen to this guy?
It's probably all a facade, really. Like, he's probably gone in there and said, like, we can get back into this game, just think about Preston last week, blah, blah, blah. And they're all just looking at him like, you're not even going to be here on Monday, so why should we bother?
Are they actually bottom?
No.
I'm just trying to think how likely it is that he actually gets sacked today.
Portsmouth are bottom.
Oh, of course.
Because I was just making a note of the positions in the table of the next.
Well, their next game is Portsmouth, isn't it? That's their midweek fixture. And then they've got one more after that going into the international break. So they would have expected to lose today.
He's gone in the international break, isn't he? There's a new manager coming in at that point.
There might be a couple gone on the international break. It seems like a smart time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't realise that Millwall were 11th. I thought they were much lower. QPR 23rd. So this is our next few games. Then the break, and then Swansea 12th. Luton 21st.
Yeah, I'd worked out, didn't I? It was based on the last table prior to this game that the average position of our next 12 opponents was 15th. So
yeah, so this should be the start of a good run of games through to Christmas, hopefully.
Yeah. Derby was skewing that slightly because we played them twice and they were 12th, but they've dropped.
But yeah, QPR have done us a bit of a favour and got a point.
And Joe Bellingham got sent off.
He did, didn't he?
For Sunderland, closed the gap. And are we now calling it now Sunderland finished club?
Yeah, well, it looks that way. It certainly looks that way. But yeah, that puts us second. Stop the count.
Yeah.
Is that how you're saying? Just knock it on the head now.
Second's fine.
8th clean sheet of the season as well.
Mm.
Not that we had to work for it, but still 8 out of 13 games clean sheets. Keep that across the season.
And we're just ignoring the first game as well in terms of our goals conceded.
Stupid.
Yeah, nonsense. Right, I think that's just about it. I think for the live stream and the match ball. So thank you for joining us on this one. We do appreciate it. And you can check out the audio version in the members feed for some match ball extra time, some bonus chat. Just a little spoiler alert for this, Michael. I want to ask you about your yoga retreat. What's going to be involved in that?
All right, cool. I'll make some notes quickly.
So prep yourself. If you want to become a member, head to thesquareball.net/plus. And what have we got then coming up? We've got the members show tomorrow that's coming out. We've got Baron Cross. Baron's going to come across and have a chat with us shortly, which will be out on Monday for the West Stand. So look out for that.
Thank you. If you bought the merch, we put loads on sale. It broke the website for a bit. We are getting it packed up. But
we increased the. I'm just going to look at what this is costing us and see. I want to see what your face is, Michael. So our web server, we had to crank it up to deal with the demand. Might have helped the match ball today. So we've had to crank it up temporarily to 565 quid a month. How do you feel about that?
The internet's free, isn't it? Doesn't it just work?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. Incidentally, if you are a software engineer and you want to sort all that out, get in touch with us. In the meantime, we will see you soon.
The Match Ball.